Hello, everybody. Welcome to our latest episode of the Pep Talk Pod. How's everybody doing tonight?
What it
Good.
do?
Hello. How you do?
Yes. A podcast of five very opinionated sisters. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us on all the things at Pep Talk Pod _. Lots to talk about tonight, including the WNBA draft that just happened. Huge numbers pulled in. The most watched by a landslide. NBA playoffs, play-in tournament happening right now. Some history-making news out of the gymnastics world with HBCUs. And, of course, our moment off sports coming up a little later in the show. But first, let's start with some breaking news. University of Michigan football team getting 3 years of probation for football recruiting violations during the COVID-19 era in the case versus Jim Harbaugh and the sign stealing, in-person coaching, improper contact. That case is still pending, but 3 years of probation. That news just came down. Guys, what is your reaction?
Boo, they never shouldn't have been in the finals in the championship game because they've been cheating the whole time.
Boo.
Roll Tide. They ain't had no meetings up in there.
We don't like it. No.
They don't like the Wolverines. Boo.
No. Boo. Slap on the wrist. They played.
Well, the NCAA is saying that it reached this negotiated settlement with the school. Jim Harbaugh was not involved in any of the process. Obviously, we know Jim Harbaugh is now coaching with the Chargers, so he's technically not even with the school anymore. Sharon Moore is there to clean it all up now. But the case on the impermissible in-person scouting and the sign stealing, which we know that led to the 3-game suspension for this past season, that case is still pending. It is separate from this case where they just got 3 years probation. So there could be more sanctions coming down as a result of all these violations that Michigan racked up over the last few years. So guys, do we think that there's going to be any actual fallout from this?
It should be. Why the brother got left holding the bag?
That's right there.
Didn't we say this in the middle of the NFL season? We said, okay, the brother finna get the job. Okay, of course, they're going to leave him holding the bag. He about to get the heck up out of here because we were talking about, Harbaugh should stay. He's going to make history. That's what the internet was saying. We were like, he ain't staying. He going to pull a Pete Carroll. And he voila, look what he did.
Bars gone and run away.
Yeah, they all hang together. He did a Pete Carroll. He got the heck up out of Dodge. The brothers left holding the bag. They should have never been a championship contender. We said that from the gate. You cannot go into this championship game with your competitor's signage and making illicit bets and whatever type of deals on the side for recruiting if other schools can't get away with it, allegedly. Well, we can say allegedly, but I mean, he was suspended for 3 games for part of this, so I'm not throwing anything on him. I'm just saying some of the stuff they found enough cause to do something about. So here we are. It's trash.
Yeah. Crystal, what were you saying?
Sean said it.
Trash.
Well, I just find so this type of violation that they just got the 3 years of probation for, the fines normally range around $5,000, which is obviously that's not even a slap on the wrist. That's like a slap on the pinky.
I was gonna say that's a slap on the pinky. I think
on the fingernail.
But the impermissible contact and the sign stealing, if they are found guilty or culpable, I should say, then they would be deemed a repeat violator by the NCAA, which would then trigger harsher sanctions, more fines, possible.
The Jim ain't getting no punishment.
Nothing.
And
that's they allowed him. I have a question. It's not really a question, but I really hate that they allowed him, not so much allowed him, but they gave him that leverage to leave the school in that particular way that he left the school because he knew what was going on. That's why they suspended him. Yeah, and now he's gone to a better place, like to deal with, with more money, to say the least.
Yeah. And will not be
Precisely.
held in no circumstances held against
None.
him.
And unfortunately, if he ever decides to cross across the line, which I don't see that happening unless he comes
Well,
out
he
to
did
LA and
once
doesn't do
before,
anything for 2 years. He did.
did.
That's what I'm saying. There's still going to be no repercussions because it'll all be over by the time that happens. And so we get that this stuff is very strategic, but the program and the school walked away with a championship this year from doing things that are consistent with cheating. Let's call it what it is. Stealing signage and stuff. Those are play calls that only people on the field are supposed to know. So not only are you watching film on my school, but you get to watch the film with my signage. So you already know what's happening. That pulls the competitive nature out of it because you know what's going to happen. How fair is that? And so here we are, but it's not even going to matter because they have a championship in the books and, other schools got pulled and weeded out. And then he obviously gets no real repercussions. He got to sit in the weight room or in the field house for 3 games while the brother had to get on TV and start crying like a fool. And
that right there.
Now he's still holding the doggone bag for something that maybe he wasn't even orchestrating. And so, I don't feel sorry for none of them.
Chris, I saw your finger up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The same way that they went back and they pulled, was it Reggie Bush who had to turn in his Heisman Trophy? I think they need to go back to Michigan and make them turn in that championship trophy.
I agree. But I know they're not going to do that. I agree.
We know they're not.
We kind of said that, we've said that in previous podcasts, like they should, take it back. But it's like you're going to take it back and give it to who?
Who are you going to give it to?
But politics really, and I would say it was just a stretch year. Just stretch the year out. Just take it off.
No. Yeah, right.
But
I mean, you never take away the celebration? I'm sorry, I mean, cut you off.
Go ahead. It's politics really sucks when it comes down to collegiate sports. To me, I'm sorry, it really does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that there will definitely be an asterisk by this year in the championship, just because of it's just not a good look. You get suspended at the beginning of the season. You get all these violations. There are multiple violations and cases against your school, against your program at the same time. So I just find that very, very interesting. But let's move on to some other stuff. The WNBA draft was last night.
Woo, yes, it was.
Boo. I don't like the stage they set in for WNBA at all. I don't care for it.
You didn't like the stage? I mean,
what you mean?
What you mean? American Princess?
I feel like for one, I wasn't even thinking about her. We already knew what happened with that. For one, I feel like on the production side, I've never worked in production, but it was very poor quality. I feel like for them to know that this was going to be a very large event, the event sold out in 15 minutes. We knew the viewership was going to be there. They should have prepared better. I felt like it was very.
Who should have prepared better? Are you talking about ESPN?
The production as a whole, it was very low quality, low budget to me. I just feel like when we look at the draft on the men's side, we see a whole coming of age, coming of professionalism. It's like a bar mitzvah, like it's a whole coming out party. It's an extravagant celebration, right? But for the women's side, let's all get over here to New York and sit in the auditorium and we'll have your family sit at the round table with the purple tablecloth. And then when we call your name, you walk around the corner and come over here and talk to Holly Rowe. And then when you finish talking to Holly, you go stand on stage and hold your jersey. And then you come back down off stage and, hug your coaches and some of the assistant staff. Then when you go there, then you can walk right back behind that one-sided window, and then you sit on the table and have your conversation while on the other side of that window we can still hear the draft going on. It was just very low budget to me. I was not impressed.
A grade school award ceremony.
Well, okay. So I will say, a few years ago, the WNBA draft was literally like in a conference room. It was, when I tell you, it was beyond. I mean, it's come a long way in the production value. So let's just go real quick. I think we can get into this because I think that this conversation really centers as well, because I think there was a graphic that came out from ESPN showing what Caitlin Clark's salary is going to be for the next 4 years. And everybody was just in an uproar like, oh my God. All she gets paid. And I'm like, that's all they've been getting paid. Where y'all been? Y'all just now figuring out that they don't get paid.
The highest, seems like the highest ever, because I don't know any other WNBA player that got no $2 million. Starting
it's for new basketball player. These new people that's just started watching.
Yeah. Well, okay, so her salary for the next 4 years is like 330 some thousand. She's starting at 70,000 a year. Now, so what I will say is, I mean, what y'all thought Brittany Griner was in Russia just to have fun?
That's girl, you took the words out of my mouth. If they were paying, I was putting my church finger up to say, if y'all weren't paying attention, they were mad at Brittany Griner. Brittany was letting y'all know she wasn't getting no money over here playing for y'all. So she had to go to the Russians where she was getting millions to play in USC. And so, obviously they weren't paying attention. But
hello, did we not all watch Love and Basketball when Sonali they had to go to Spain to play basketball? But anyway,
they watch it.
One of our favorite movies.
I mean, were you not paying attention? Because that's what's happening. But I will say, so let's just go over it. So, of course, the obvious number one was Caitlin Clark going to Indiana Fever. Number two, Cameron Brink out of Stanford going to LA. 3, Camila Cardoza out of South Carolina going to Chicago. I'm going to say, for me, Chicago won the draft. Chicago got Cardoza at 3 and Angel Reese at 7. What do you guys think about that order? Rakia Jackson went number 4 to LA, and then Lacey Sheldon out of Ohio State went 5 to Dallas. Aaliyah Edwards out of UConn went to Washington. But what do you guys think about those top 7 picks and how that went down?
Boo-boo.
Yeah. LA ought to be ashamed of themselves.
They really
dropped
the ball tremendously.
They really did.
To me,
like, how do you get picks over Chicago and still lose? Like, that makes no sense to me. I am not in the WNBA business. I'm obviously not in that arena, but from a fan base standpoint, from a earnings, from a publicity standpoint, from ticket sales. I mean, I'm just trying to name all the things that y'all missed out on when you had the picks over Chicago. How did that make sense for your organization? I don't see it. I don't get it. And there's only one thing to be left to the imagination about that. And I feel like they tried to throw our girl Rakia a little bit of a spoon, but if truth be told, I wish she could leave too. I think LA Sparks need to lose for the next 10 years because they played in our face in that draft. And I cannot wait to watch them play all season. I'm going to be going against them. I don't care who they play because y'all not going to play like that. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Okay. Chris, I saw your finger, child.
Well, they have already said who was going where if y'all would pay attention.
They did.
It was already spoken before the draft.
It really was.
So it really wasn't a big surprise. Only to me, the only really big surprise was Martin that came from UConn.
Hey, Martin.
She claimed she put in for the draft, but didn't get an invitation for the draft. And then all of a sudden, she gets called.
I mean, yeah. She goes to Vegas, right? And she going to the Aces.
Yeah, she's going to Aces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she going to Aces.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think my pre-draft report said that Angel was going to go 5. So I was a little bit
what I was about to
shocked to see her drop to 7. But that was the only thing because all the pre-draft reports had Cameron going number 2 to LA. So I kind of saw it coming. I didn't. Yeah.
They had Angel and Camilla going together. They had already said that last week.
Yeah.
I heard.
Well, I think that was one poll prediction. But I'm going to tell you something. I think that was one poll prediction. And I do agree that we kind of already knew some of the teams that would prospectively be getting these players out the draft. We didn't know that the numbers were going to get tossed amongst the way that they did. We also know that the talks and the conversation was not that Angel was possibly could be going to Chicago, but that Angel was going to end up in LA because LA had the pick over Chicago to get her. So when they deferred, for what I consider a deferment, because they bypassed her in the draft. They bypassed Camila Cardozo in the draft. To me, that says your organization is not trying to win. I don't care what nobody else predicted. When you got the opportunity to pick somebody out of the draft and bring, you got to snatch it up.
You got to snatch it. I agree with Sean.
So you just gave Chicago a bag full of money. That's all I'm trying to say.
And this is the thing that I hate about Angel, because she didn't go in the fifth round. She went in the seventh round. Whereas if she would have went last year, because she made a choice to come back, listening to her coach, to come back and play another year, she did. Then now she missed out of being 1 or 2 seed, being picked last year, to coming in being picked 7 this year. The money is totally different. Even though she made more money in college than she would ever make being on anybody's team, outside of the endorsements and all. I'm just saying, salary base wise, she lost. Angel really lost. And I hate that for her, because, had she came out last year, she would have been on top.
That's a very true statement.
She had already did training with Spoon. And everybody knew she was going to get that coaching job at Chicago.
That was the hope. But again, we're talking about from a business aspect. That was a hope coming into the draft. But from a business standpoint, you literally just handed another organization some money. I really don't understand it. I mean, I appreciate the pickup for Rakia. I do think that Brinks is a LA girl. I get it. She's a Cali girl. I understand that they wanted to keep her at home. But I just think from a business standpoint, and from what we just saw, we literally saw Angel Reese set the stage for women's basketball. This whole season, they've talked about what Caitlin Clark has done. Until that brown girl got on that TV and brought all these fans to their feet and put your hand gestures and your motions back on you and beat you in a championship game after you put down an undefeated team last year in the Final Four. Until that brown girl got on that stage and was bold enough to talk her talk, walk her walk, and beat her, the eyes and the competition wasn't really like it was. So everybody keeps giving Caitlin Clark this accolades and these kudos for, she's changed women's basketball. She changed women's basketball based off of what she could not do and somebody else did to her. Let's be clear. And so now you got Angel Reese, who came in with the fandom. She came in on it. She had the personality for it. She's been calling herself the Bayou Barbie. She's been telling y'all she's standing on business. She's been telling y'all you got to come out and watch us play. She's been that player. You see what I'm saying? Ever since she got from Maryland to LSU, she took a chance. And so when you talk about somebody that has changed women's basketball, I hate to say it, the narrative has changed because of the scoring and because she keeps losing to these big teams. But these brown girls set the stage for women's basketball, and I just hate to see it play out the way that it's been.
Time ago.
It's crap to me.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with that. So last night I was actually in attendance for the LA Sparks draft party. I was in the room where Magic and all them were in the war room, their new GM making the picks. They were like right behind us. But I will say that every time, and there were a couple players from the team as well, every time Angel's face popped up on the screen, it was like a loud cheer in the room. Like every day, they were super excited about her. Like when they didn't get her from those first 2 picks, there was just like audible like groaning and booing in the room. When Cardozo got picked at number 3, people started booing. I got it all on videotape, but so I will say it seemed like at least some of the fans, and there were Sparks employees that were there as well, were very excited about Angel. But I want to talk about something else that's dealing with women's basketball. And Sean, you kind of set it up, like setting the stage for where women's basketball is. As I said, the draft last night averaged like 2.4 million viewers, like well above the previous record which was only like 600,000 or something. So the eyes were there. What I will say is that, the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, she mentioned about expansion, because currently you only have 144 roster spots in the WNBA. You got 12 spots on each roster. And so you have a bunch of talented women who, if you had more teams, would still be in the WNBA, but are now going to be cut literally every season as you're bringing more people in. You're cutting people who could be having monster seasons because you don't have enough roster spots. And we talked about Caitlin Clark and this whole salary thing, $333,000 for 4 years, which is kind of insane considering what she's doing. But you also got to look at it. The WNBA has literally functioned at a loss every year. It's supplemented by the NBA. It's functioning at a loss. It doesn't bring in money. Do we think now, with this renewed interest now, that that there's going to be more money pumped into it, or are these girls going to still have to supplement their salaries with these endorsement deals?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to lean on endorsements, but I think that because aren't they funded by the NBA? Is that not what I heard?
They are. They are correct. That is correct.
I think that they are going to lend more funds to this program. I mean, to the WNBA, obviously, because you have more eyes on them. There are also situations now where the ticket sales have been crazy. I went online to get tickets to the Chicago Sky and Atlanta Dream game, a total wrap, because they play out at the Energy Center. It ain't enough seats in there for that. They're going to have to bring it over to State Farm Arena. So it's going to be this trickle down effect. We tried to get tickets to the Chicago Sky game and the Indiana Fever. Those tickets were sold out before they even announced Camila Cardone.
Sold out.
So it's just like, you're thinking about trying the expansion of it, but the expansion is going to be necessary because you can't put butts in seats if you don't have seats to put them in. And then now you have your ticket sales where you could be making more money and expand that. You don't have the capacity to do it. So what are you going to do? You got to grow. I do think they're going to put more money in it because I think if we watch the NCAA tournament this year, the women by far superseded the viewership that the men's side got. And they're like, oh, it's money in this. It's money in this now. So now we got to play the game. So I think they're going to get definitely more funding.
Yeah. The NBA currently takes in about $10 billion a year. WNBA is only about 200 million. So there's a huge discrepancy there. But like you said, I mean, people have been saying, oh, the product wasn't there. I disagree with that. I mean, you have had some all-time great legends, pioneers of the game who have come through the WNBA. And what was not there was the investment. And so now you're seeing that, guess what? Like, women in America are obviously, we're now the majority. You're seeing that women like sports. Women want to support sports. So you have to put the infrastructure in. And so I think now you're going to start seeing, Kathy Engelbert said that they are confident that they can expand to 16 teams by 2028. They're looking at South Florida. They're looking at couple places in Texas, and some other places. So I think we're going to see more investment in WNBA and hopefully bigger salaries.
Yes, the investment in
bring our girls home.
And I think that would be so awesome because it would keep our kids or our girls from going overseas. Like, you would have to have a Brittany Griner situation if we had more teams that was paying more money. Unfortunately, like they have to think about so much when it come down to these ladies, and safety is obviously got to be one of them.
Yeah, and we will be glad to go and see our local homegrown Unique Thompson if she come back.
Right.
Home.
That's right.
Go and
she's doing good overseas.
She is doing awesome. Yes.
Yeah, she's doing good overseas, but they don't have the money or the fan base for Unique right now. And I say that right now because the eyes in the WNBA are on a certain set of players. Candace Parker has always had her fan base, right? Her fans always follow her kind of where she goes. She's kind of one of the biggest or bigger names right now in WNBA.
But she's on her way out the door, though. She's been there.
She is on her way out
the door.
2
decades.
Well, she was going to be leaving, but then she returned and went back to Las Vegas, right? She came back. So, you know, and I get that, but I'm just saying, when you're talking about fandom, these girls that just got drafted last night has the fandom, right? There's a difference between just pure talent. I feel like the WNBA has always had the talent, but stardom, you know how they say in Destiny's Child, Beyonce can sing, but they always felt like Kelly had the stronger vocals, but Beyonce had the look. I'm not saying I agree with that one way or the other, but I'm saying that's what we're seeing here for WNBA, because we've always had that talent, but these girls are stars. You know what I'm saying? They know how to bring people out to the game. They know how to get you on their TV and watching their games. They've been able to do it all through college, and so I just feel like they're just continuing to set the stage. And so for me, I think, from a business standpoint, I do see them expanding, but I also see that these salaries are definitely going to increase over time. I think that the endorsements, obviously, they knew going into the WNBA that they weren't going to make money off of playing on the team. They were going to make money off of their endorsements, right?
And I think that's the difference too. I think that you're looking like back then, you know, for those women who were pioneers in women's basketball, for them, the goal was just to even prove that they had the talent, to prove that they should even have a league. They were strictly players. And now I think NIL has benefited women's athletes more than anybody, because honestly, these girls now, they see themselves as businesses. Like, they are a business entity. They are not just players. And so that's, like you said, like when you're seeing Caitlin Clark in a State Farm commercial, or you're seeing Angel Reese doing a Gatorade commercial, or whatever it is, like, you didn't see that before. You didn't see the Diana Taurasi's and the Lisa Leslie's and all of them doing commercials and stuff, where it's like, oh, these are recognizable faces, you know, to people who were not watching the WNBA. And so that's been the difference. And I think it's definitely going to, somebody keep hitting their mic, but I think there was one question from our producers about, do we think that the men, because we've had some of the men come out and be like, oh, the ladies are doing their thing, they're doing their thing. Should the men be taking a pay cut? Or the difference is the NBA and the WNBA, they have different collective bargaining agreements. And so that's really, will they collectively bargain to give the WNBA more money? I don't think so. But what else?
I think too, I thought somebody was going to say something, because, you know, I'll run it down, but I was going to say, I think that should they take a pay cut? I think, if it's necessary, but I feel like people watch women's sports and women's basketball specifically now because we understand it is more a competitive game. I think when you get to the NBA, it really becomes more of a show of who can do the most. Like the NBA to me has turned into just a shootout game. I don't really feel that, like, I don't keep up with as many NBA games as I used to. I used to be very, engulfed in the NBA season, but I think now it's just who's going to shoot the best tonight, and that's how we're going to win. Nobody there has that grit, that grind. Like, we used to watch
the playoffs.
Boston. Yeah, not into the playoffs. And so you didn't watch 100 games before you done got to the playoffs. That's exhausting, because all those games were very underwhelming until you get to the playoffs. And so that's what I'm saying.
This time of the year, you're not even interested. I can't tell you who on who team. Nobody but LeBron, because that's the only person that's coming up. And Seth Curry. I'm just saying, it's me, because I'm not going to start following none of the teams and start looking at none of the games seriously until the playoffs. Because up until this point, you're going to have probably your star player going to be out 10 games. Somebody else, they not even running up and down on the court. They jogging on the court. They shooting up half
and laughing.
Man, I'm gonna tell you how much Tracy don't pay attention, because she said Seth Curry, not Steph.
I was like, because I was going to ask her, so what team is Seth Curry on?
Oh, my bad. Well, I'm just saying, I don't pay attention.
We knew who you was talking about, Big Sis. We knew who you
we knew. But to be fair,
so viewers,
the WNBA, they have obviously a much shorter season. They only play 4 months. The guys, they play how many months? I guess a 15. Much longer season.
Yes, they have a very long season,
and they have 149 games.
This fool
is it 8 months? Because I thought they extended it.
Yeah, 149 games. That's excessive. Who can keep up?
That's a long time.
It's a very long season.
That's why ain't nobody running. Who gonna run up and down the court?
That's why they ain't going up and down the court trying to shoot them. They
doing that. That's too long.
Meanwhile, we wasn't watching though until the All-Star game.
We didn't watch that either. That's underwhelming.
The season don't start until the All-Star.
I watched the shootout and the dunk. I watched the 3-point shootout contest and the dunk contest.
And the dunk contest is getting worse every year. It's just like sitting KJ and King got there to talk about dunking. And Nora can be the stunt person or something because this is hard.
History making that happened over the weekend. Sean, take it away.
Woo! So Miss Morgan Price. The Price is Right is what I hear around the internet. Woo! Let's give it up for her.
Yeah.
She is the first HBCU gymnast to win overall in the USAG women's overall category. Here's the thing that I love about this. She was committed to Arkansas and she said, hold on. Run that back to me real quick. Let me go over here and hang with my people. And so her speech said, well, it's just so much fun when you get to actually be in your culture, and it means so much more because now little kids come to our meets and they see us and they understand that this is possible. And so she's having fun. And she said, now all eyes are on us. We setting the stage, baby. I ain't got to go over here to your stage. We can create our own. And so let's give it up to Morgan Price of Fisk University. Woo!
Congratulations, Morgan.
She entered 5th in 2023. So, baby, she is set and slated to really do some numbers in this gym world.
Yeah, I love that for her. There was another thing, and I wanted to call them out. Another HBCU that did some awesome things over the weekend. Xavier University out of Louisiana. Their cheer team, they're competitive cheer champions. Again, they won the NAIA division this past weekend. I saw their routine online. I saw that Gabrielle Union retweeted them, and it was like the real Clovers. The real Clovers from Bring It On. What is it? Total Domination.
This isn't spear fingers. These are spears.
But yeah, so shout out to Xavier for winning that. Because I think I saw a lady. Yes, shout out to Xavier. The nation's only Catholic HBCU. But I saw this one Black woman who was tweeting about it, and she was like, "This is so big because." Usually on a cheer squad, a competitive cheer squad, like the Black people are the choreographers. You might have one or two guys on the team who is spotting somebody or a tumbler, but it's never like an all Black squad winning the competition. And so I just wanted to shout them out too for that because that's pretty awesome. We'll try to post their routine on our Instagram page so you guys can check it out. Their winning routine. It was
phenomenal.
Yay. Social media.
What the young folks say? They ate it up. What's 4 plus 4? What's 4 plus 4?
Is 8.
Cooking, baby. Let's go.
HBCU actually did an awesome job this whole weekend. Starting with the gymnastics and then the cheer. And don't forget, Southern be LSU in baseball. And Auburn turned around and got whooped by Alabama State. And baby, you talking about a good game? That was a good game.
That was a good game.
If you didn't get to watch that game, you should go back and watch some of the highlight reels. Like the game was crazy intense. I do not like Alabama State, obviously for but I was so impressed.
Not going to do the Hornets like that. And Jackson State had a girl
Angel Jackson.
She made the draft. I think she got the last pick. They play with me again. She got the last pick as they closed out.
I'm gonna make sure they give you a call when this season starts.
Don't play with us no more like that, okay?
But she was the only HBCU player taken in the WNBA draft. So congrats to Angel Jackson out of Jackson State. Another Black girl magic moment. We love it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to our favorite segment of the day.
Oh, bless it.
What it do, boo? What it do? How? Well, can we get an amen or can we get a swallowed up?
We're not getting swallowed up this week. Have you ever been swallowed?
Our favorite
Have you ever been
swallowed?
swallowed? Have you ever been swallowed?
Church shenanigans. I am just so excited to see what we're gonna laugh about this here day.
I don't have my tissue. I need my tissue.
I got mine.
You about to get
So y'all always be making fun of me because church to me is like the best comedy show on the planet. I mean, yes, I go there, praise the Lord, get the word, hear me some songs, catch my blessing. But y'all know, like the crazy stuff always happens in church, correct? Always. So there is this, there's a very popular, I don't know if y'all saw this video. If you have, forgive me. There's a very popular song called, I believe it's called Open the Floodgate.
Oh,
of heaven. Let it rain.
By Bishop.
Yes.
By Bishop Paul Morton. Paul Morton.
Correct. There you go. Y'all know it. And there was a nice rendition of that song done here recently.
Yes, your granddad loved that song.
And I'm gonna play it for you right now.
Do I really want to look at the screen?
Let's just go ahead and hold up. Let me make sure it's ready for you.
Bishop. Bishop, don't do it.
And here we go.
Oh gosh. I can't watch this.
I feel the rain. 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 It's raining all over me.
Is they bebopping?
I'm moist. Call and response, I said I'm moist.
I don't know, but do y'all see the man face behind the plant back there in the back?
Right.
Y'all see that man face behind the plant?
I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated.
They are bebopping.
I'm saturated. Yes, I am. I'm saturated. Yes, I am.
Look at the man face in the back there.
He gotta go.
I'm down.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm down. Lord, I'm down. I'm down. Oh,
they down from the rain. Down from the rain.
I'm even wet.
This is getting so sexual. I don't understand where we're headed.
Lord, I'm wet.
Moist, wet, down.
Will you open the floodgates?
Open the floodgates. What was that? That is so angry. Every time I see that, I get so angry.
So, y'all, I played it the other day. And as we all know, my partner is a Polish guy from Connecticut. And he just been walking around the house talking some, I'm saturated. I said, shut up.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot. Total fool.
Go, Ryan.
A total fool. Please be so for real.
He's saturated. Go, Ryan. Hey.
I noticed about that. Tracy, you noticed it off the bat. And it took me a while. I didn't notice that somebody was beatboxing.
That's so ignorant.
I mean, boom, 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 boom.
And we are so unserious as a culture. Like somebody had to walk out behind him because he probably was about screaming on the inside. Did you see homeboy walk out?
Yes, I can guarantee you, he was the person on the piano saying, "I ain't got time for this foolishness right here."
Did y'all see the man behind the plant though?
He was stuck.
He was stuck like us. Tell my son.
I'm just calling response. I'm moist.
I'm down. I'm down.
How you telling them call and response? Repeat after me. That's basically what he said. Call and response. I'm moist. Like, so for real. What is that? Who allowed him to get up there and do that?
I'm down.
Why did they shut the mics off?
I'm wet. I'm moist. I'm waiting on the remix.
Oh God!
And he's standing in one spot. Couldn't move. Couldn't do nothing.
I'm such
hey, keep it PG, keep it PG, Chris. Keep it PG.
Oh God!
What she say?
What was funny to me is that he said, "I'm moist," and the background singer was like, "I'm moist," and he was like, "No, call and response." I said, "I'm
call
moist."
and response. I'm moist.
Moist.
You gotta stop. See, that's where you draw the line, because now they singing it in their soprano voice. Moist. Like what?
It was the bebopping for me. Because wasn't nobody play on that piano.
Period.
And whoever was beatboxing is unserious too, because who asked you to do that?
He might did.
Like what was going on? That was just
he might did.
Okay.
I just have to say that moist is literally my least favorite word in the English language. I hate hearing that word, and the fact that you threw that in a song to God really offends my spirit.
That's a lot of people that don't like that word.
I don't like
a gross word.
Stopped up. That is so disgusting. Somebody say stopped up. I just got to throw up my 3 years of dinner. It's so disgusting.
Well,
why?
What the people supposed to say?
I'd really rather hear moist than stopped up. I'm sorry, I hit my mic. I'd really rather hear moist than stopped up. Yeah, that's just.
I was going to say what they supposed to say. Oh, it's juicy.
You're not
hydrated.
I'll take hydrated. But
then, hydrated? Lord Jesus.
I mean,
that's just too much.
I can't even say saturated no more because this fool walking around my house busting out randomly.
No.
I'm saturated. I was like,
idiot.
We just want to hear. I need to hear him and Pep do a duo.
No. Miss it. He gonna be your daddy. I'm saturated.
Yeah, you gotta tilt the head, baby. You gotta tilt the head.
I'm moist, oh Lord.
Then he gonna say, "Oh, wait a minute. My voice a little scratches, a little raspy. Let me do it again."
No. This is it. Anybody here? I feel the rain.
First of all, don't play on my daddy because Pep can actually sing. First of all,
yeah, we were not talking about the singing. We were talking about him doing the ad libs on the Walker did. Not you a hater.
You say so.
Not you a hater on your dad's
vocal. I'm not saying dad can't sing, y'all. I'm just saying that song right there. No,
that's his song.
That is definitely his song.
So Tracy done heard it enough to be a judge, is what she said.
Yeah, that's probably
like that ain't one of his best, huh, Tracy?
It's probably
heard
like
enough of his moist and saturated. That's what she done heard enough of.
He can't first say saturated.
If I hear gyro one more time.
Gyro, girl, it ain't gyro.
I said, Daddy, it's gyro. I know you know what I'm talking about. Please, you gotta bust my eardrums. We don't have to listen to this the whole entire day. Now I see why my daughter be mad at me. Mommy, you just keep listening to this Jesus music over and over and over and over again. The same one. I get it from my daddy.
Hey, and Pokely get up here about to cry. Not only are you gonna play the same songs over and over again, you play them with the volume up on 99.
Yeah,
very good.
And the league is like, oh my God, I got to go to school. Oh my God, it's a Saturday morning. Oh
2 o'clock in the morning, and all I hear is Gyro. You are no. I'm like, let them notes go.
I want you to go back to that first. Hold it one more time.
Gyro. You are no.
Y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right.
That's what he do. That's what he do.
Well, all right.
He is singing the remix, baby. He has pulled that song out of contemporary and slapped back in the Southern gospel. Do you hear me?
Oh yeah. Every time. Every time. That's you, Dad.
Well, let's play Daddy this current version of Open the Floodgates and see what he think about this rendition of it. And we might get him to come on the show and sing it for us. Maybe not those exact words, but
please not.
I'm not getting my dad to come on here talking about no saturated now. We ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be a part of that.
Oh my gosh. Again, thank you guys so much for joining the show. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, leave us a comment and a like. We would definitely appreciate it. And we will see you guys on the next episode. And on that note, we're gonna do what we do every night.
Yeah!